Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Adwapiti Nur Rahim, and today I would like to present our mini project, which is water quality. So, what is water quality? Water quality describes the condition of the water that including the chemical, physical, and the biological characteristic that usually with respect to its suitability to a particular purpose such as drinking and swimming. In our project, we already designed the water purification system. And there are 3 different parameters that we use in our project, which are different size of gravel, different depth, and different weight. From the parameter, we obtain 4 physical characteristics of water quality, which are the first one is color, temperature, odor, and suspended solid. There are 3 objectives that we obtain from this project. The first objective is to propose the significant physical water quality parameters to measure the effectiveness of the design water purification system. So, the second one is to analyze the data and interpret the result of the water quality experiments. And the last one is to work as a team in organizing and carry out the experiment and in the preparation of technical report and presentation. The problem statement from the project: clean water is a necessity to every living organism. Various human activities, however, lead to various pollution being emitted to the environment and thus pollute the surface water resources. So we will proceed to the procedure of the project. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is HURIL binti Syukur, and I will explain on part ways and means for this mini project on water quality. Basically, our group had proposed 3 different designs of the same purification materials, which the first one is different in weight of materials, the second one is different in depth of materials, and the third one is different in size of gravel. Let me introduce first the apparatus and materials that we use. The apparatus that we use in this mini project consists of weighing scale, container to place the purification materials, which is 1.5 liter mineral bottle spritzer brand, measuring jug, rubber band, spoon, small container, and cooking oven. For the preparation of contaminated water sample, the materials that we use are 500 ml of water, 50 gram of soil, and 50 gram of wet flour Sour brand. So, what are the purification materials that we use for our mini project? They are cotton pads, sand, gravel, and charcoal. Therefore, let's check it out the procedure on preparing the contaminated water sample, preparing the purification materials inside the container, and lastly, the water filtration process in the water bottle. Preparation of contaminated water sample. Insert 500 ml water, 50 gram wet flour, and 50 gram soil into the jug. After that, stir the mixture with spoon until they completely blended. And the sample is ready to be used. Next, let's watch the procedure on preparing the water filter. Before we start, all the purification materials need to be washed and dry first. This video shows all the gravels being washed until they clean, and the same step repeated for sand and charcoal. Firstly, tie the cotton pad at the bottom nozzle and place another 3 layers of cotton pad inside the bottle. Next, for all the purification materials by inserting charcoal first. For the second layer, place the sand. And lastly, followed by placing the gravel. With that, the filtration process can be proceeded. Next, the contaminated water sample was poured into the water filter for filtration process. The filtered water then will be tested for physical parameters, and they are color, odor, temperature, and suspended solid. The same procedure by using the same contaminated water sample will be repeated for each water filter design. The physical parameter that we tested in this mini project were including color, odor, temperature, and suspended solid. For color, we use our naked eyes to identify the color by using the scale. Same goes to the odor. By using our sense of smell, we identify the odor also by using the scale. To determine the temperature, the sample was placed at room temperature for a while, and after that, the temperature was checked during that time and the data was recorded. Lastly, to determine the suspended solid, we let the solids inside the filtrated water sample to settle first, and we remove some water. Before that, the weight of container was recorded. Next, the sample with container was placed in the oven until dry, and the weight of solid including dish after the drying was recorded.
Assalamualaikum, my name is IFFA, so I would like to explain about the data and analysis. Okay, for the design parameters that have been tested, we have three. First is weight of the material, second is size of the material, and third is type of the materials. Okay, for the physical parameters that we observe is colors and odor, and we also calculate for the suspended solid and measure the temperature. Okay, for the color, we scale it from 0 to 4. 4 stands for cloudy and 0 is colorless. Meanwhile, for the odor, we scale it from 0 to 4 also. 0 stands for odorless, while 4 stands for too bad odor. Okay, first design parameters is weight of the materials. We took at least 5 number of samples with 500 ml of water samples with different size, with different weight of the gravel, sand, and charcoal. Okay, the results, as you can see, after 6 hours of filtrations, the colors for the sample number 1 turns cloudy. Meanwhile, for the second sample, slightly cloudy. Third sample, yellow. Fourth sample, a bit yellow. And sample number 5, colorless. So the colors changes start from cloudy to colorless. Meanwhile, for the odor, for the sample number 1 is bad. Sample number 2, earthy odor. Sample number 3 and 4 is a bit of earthy odor. Meanwhile, for the sample number 5 is odorless. For the odor, is getting better from the bad to odorless. Meanwhile, for the temperature, we measure as a room temperature, 28 degrees Celsius. And for the suspended solid, we calculated by using the formulas, and we get sample number 1, 20,000 mg per liter. For the second sample is 50 mg per liter. For the third sample, 12 mg per liter, and sample number 4, 10,000 mg per liter. While sample number 5, we get 9. Okay, for the second is design depth of materials. We took 2 number of samples. with different depth of materials. Okay, for the sample number 1, start from the gravels until charcoal. We measure it as 2 cm, 2 cm and 2 cm. Meanwhile, for the sample number 2, we measure as 4 cm for the gravel, 4 cm for the sand, 4 cm for the charcoal. Okay, the result of the 6-hour filtrations, we get for the sample number 1, the color is yellow. And for the sample number 2, the color is getting better by a bit yellow. Okay, for the order, for the sample number 1 is 2 bad, while for the sample number 2 is a bit of earthy order. So we also measure the suspended solid. We get 30,000 for the sample number 1, meanwhile for the sample number 2 is 50,000. Okay, third is design size of materials. We also measure at least 2 number of samples with different size of gravel, but the same size for sand and charcoal. Okay, for the gravel, for the size sample number 1, the size of the gravel is a bit smaller than the sample size of the gravel for the sample number 2. Okay, for the result of the 6-hour filtrations, as you can see, the colors for the sample number 1 is lightly cloudy, and for the sample number 2, it turns colorless. Meanwhile, for the order, for the sample number 1 is earthy order and turns into odorless for the sample number 2. For the suspended solid, we get 9 for both, and we also calculate for the suspended solid by using the formulas A minus B times 1000 over volume of samples in ml. A stands for weight of solid plus container after drying. Meanwhile, for the B is weight of the container. So we measure for all design parameters for the suspended solid in milligram per liter. Okay, that's all for the data analysis. Thank you.
Hi, my name is SYAMIRA binti Suhaimi. There are 3 proposed designs of the same purification material, which are weight, depth, and the size of aggregate. The physical parameter that had been measured is color, odor, suspended solid, and temperature. The physical filtration usually straining the water to remove the larger impurities. We can identify the effectiveness of water purification system by taking account each of the parameter. For the first design, which is design weight material, there are 5 samples. Sample 1 is the least weight of material to the sample 5, the highest weight of the material. As we know, there are 4 parameters that we had been assessing: color, temperature, suspended solid, and odor. For the color, sample 1 is cloudy to the sample 5, which is colorless. And for the odor, sample 1 is bad to the sample 5, which is odorless. Temperature is remain the same, which is 28 degrees Celsius, and the suspended solid for the sample 1, which are larger than the suspended solid at sample 5. This indicates that the higher the weight of the materials, the effective the water purification system. Second design, which is design of that material, there are 2 samples. Sample 1 with depth of 2 cm, sample 2 with depth of 4 cm. For the parameter result, the color for the sample 1 is yellow, range 2, and a bit yellow for the sample 2, range 1. For the odor, the sample 1 is too bad, which the range of 4, and a bit of earthy odor with scale 1 for sample 2. And the room temperature is remain the same with 28 degrees Celsius, and the suspended solid for the sample 1 is the highest between both samples. An earthy odor may indicate the presence of damp earth. This condition may be caused by an additional of soil in the contaminated water. The bad or unpleasant smell may due to the weight and depth of filtering media of charcoal that is not enough to filtering the odor effectively. This indicates that the higher the depth of the material, the effective the water purification system. The third design, which is the size of material, there are two samples. First sample, we are using the smaller aggregate, and the second sample, we are using the larger aggregate. The result for the parameter of color, the sample 1 is slightly cloudy with scale of 3, and the sample 2 is colorless, which is scale of 0. For the odor, sample 1 is earthy odor with scale of 2, and the sample 2 is odorless with scale of 0. Both have same temperature, which is 28 degrees Celsius, and both have 0 gram of the suspended solid. This indicates that the larger size of aggregate that we use have better results. The quality and effectiveness of each water filter system can be identified from the usage pattern by the filter medium in each filter system. The effective of the water filter is using the higher weight of medium, the higher depth of medium, and the larger size of aggregate. Even though it takes some time to filtrate through the pores of the material, but the result of the color, odor, temperature, and suspended solid are very pleasant and satisfied. The size and shape of the filter media also affect the efficiency of the solids removal. Sharp, angular media from large void and remove less fine material than rounded media of equivalent size. The media must be coarse enough to allow solids to penetrate. Finally, filtering dirty water to make it clean enough to drink takes time and effort. It is very important to save the water we use every day and not waste it.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Intan and I will talk about conclusion. Okay, so from this experiment, we can conclude that we have achieved our three objectives, which is first objective is to propose the significant physical water quality experiment. Second objective is to analyze data and interpret the result of the water quality experiment. Third objective is to work as a team and organize the carry out the experiment. So we have three different designs of the same purification material and 4 physical parameters that we have to measure. Okay, so for the first physical parameter, we have observed is on the color observation. We can conclude that the increase of the weight, the increase of the depth, the increase of the size of the gravel, the lower scale of the color to be obtained, which is colorless. Okay, so for the second physical parameter is on the odor observation. We can conclude that the more water sample clearness, the lower scale of the odor to be obtained. So the third physical parameter is on the temperature observation. We can conclude that all the data remain at the same temperature, which is 28 degrees Celsius. On the fourth physical parameter is on the suspended solid. We calculate the suspended solid by using the formula, and we can conclude that the suspended is decreased when the weight of the material, depth of the material, and also the size of the gravel increase. So the suspended will be decreased. The suspended solid can be obtained to be 0 milligram
with an effective of weight, effective of depth, and also effective of the size of the gravel. So in conclusion, we can say that the different type of the water design parameter will give a different quality of the water sample. So thank you.